In the golden light of dawn, a small band of early humans crouches low in the tall grass, every heartbeat echoing in the silence. A sharpened stone is clutched tight, its edge the only promise of survival. Breathless and tense, their eyes lock on a grazing animal, unaware of the hunter's presence. One mistake means starvation, perhaps death. In this fragile moment, humanity's fight for existence begins not with weapons of steel, but with trembling hands and stone. Life in the old Stone Age was a fragile existence. Hunger lingered at every sunrise, predators stalked the shadows, and a twisted ankle could end a life. With no fire to warm them, no homes to shield them, and only crude stones for defense, survival balanced on chance. In this harsh reality, even the smallest discovery like shaping a stone was not a tool alone, but a lifeline between extinction and endurance. Hunger, fear, and the endless chase for survival press against early humans like a tightening grip. In this fragile existence, a spark appears not of fire, but of curiosity. A scavenger, desperate and restless, strikes two stones together. A shard falls, sharp as a predator's tooth. What seems like an accident is far more. It is the birth of problem-solving. This fragile spark of curiosity turns fear into opportunity, weakness into strength. From this moment, humanity begins shaping not just tools, but its destiny. The sharp flake in a trembling hand is more than stone, it is possibility. With it, meat can be cut, bones cracked, and predators held at bay. Each tool is a lifeline, binding the tribe together in shared survival. For the first time, strength is no longer measured in muscle or teeth, but in ideas. These fragile fragments mark humanity's first inventions, the first whispers of civilization's story, where ingenuity, not brute force, begins to shape the path forward. Without fire, without metal, without walls to keep out the night. How did our ancestors endure a world that seemed built to break them? Could we, stripped of every comfort, survive as they once did, armed only with stone, courage, and fragile instinct? These questions linger, unsettling yet irresistible. They invite us to step back into the old Stone Age, not as distant observers, but as heirs to its struggles, the very foundation of what it means to be human. In the earliest chapters of human survival, our ancestors stood far from the top of nature's hierarchy. They were scavengers, lingering at the edges of predator kills, waiting for lions or hyenas to move on. Overhead, vultures circled, locked in the same desperate contest. Each meal was a gamble step too soon, and they faced death too late. And there was nothing left. Even the smallest injury could spell disaster. As predators stalked the weak, this fragile existence carved resilience into early humans, shaping the hunger for solutions that would eventually change the course of history. Without tools, survival was a constant struggle. Early humans clawed at scraps of meat with bare hands and teeth, powerless against thick hides or unbroken bones. The most nourishing treasure's marrow, brains. Rich fat remained sealed inside, tantalizing but unreachable. Hunger gnawed at the tribe, leaving children frail and elders weary. Each empty-handed return from scavenging carried despair, the shadow of extinction growing closer. Yet in this relentless struggle, desperation became a teacher. The ache of hunger sparked imagination, urging them to search for something more, an edge, however small, that could turn survival from chance into choice. Then came a moment that would change everything, perhaps born of chance. Picture a weary scavenger striking a bone against a rock in desperation for marrow. Shards of stone splintered away, their edges glinting sharper than any claw or tooth. In that instant, survival found a new tool. With this edge, flesh could be stripped swiftly, bones cracked open with certainty, hides carved into shapes once impossible. What began as hunger's accident became humanity's first invention. This was not just stone, it was thought made tangible. Curiosity turned into power. From this spark, the old Stone Age truly began, marking the first steps of humans shaping the world. Instead of merely enduring it, with sharpened stone flakes, humanity's struggle began to change. No longer helpless scavengers, they now carried an edge against hunger and danger. Each tool meant more marrow for children, more protection for the weak, more hope for tomorrow. For the first time, survival was not just left to chance, it could be shaped by human hands. Brutality still ruled their world, but intelligence had entered the fight, and with it, a new path forward stretched into the unknown. It began on riverbanks, more than 2 million years ago, where early humans discovered a power hidden in stone. By striking one rock against another, they split sharp flakes from the core, creating edges that could cut flesh, break bone, and scrape hides. These simple old Darwin tools may look crude to us, but to their makers they were nothing short of revolutionary. For the first time, survival was not limited to teeth, nails, or chance. With each strike, our ancestors created the earliest form of technology, a deliberate act of invention. On the open savanna, these rough stones became lifelines, proof that humans were no longer just part of nature's order, but beginning to bend it to their will. On the edge of the savanna, a carcass lies abandoned, the predators gone, but their presence still felt in the silence. An early human crouches low, heart racing, while others form a wary circle, eyes darting at every rustle in the grass. With a heavy stone clutched tight, the scavenger strikes again and again until bone splinters beneath the force. A shard flashes in the sunlight, sharp enough to slice hide, quick enough to strip flesh, and then the prize, marrow, pale and rich, oozing with life-giving fat. Children lean in, the tribe tasting nourishment rare and vital. In that act, the stone becomes more than rock, it becomes salvation. Each fragment of marrow fuels strength, sharpens thought, and carves a fragile but stronger path toward survival. Stone tools changed everything. No longer bound to the scraps left behind by lions or hyenas, early humans could act with purpose. Flakes stripped meat swiftly, bones cracked open for marrow, and hides were carved into coverings that warded off the chill. Weakness became strategy. Instinct became planning. Claws and teeth mattered less than the mind that wielded stone. Each sharpened edge gave confidence, courage, and precious time. Survival became a measure of skill, not luck alone. With every cut, humans carved a space for themselves in a dangerous world. The old Darwin toolkit was more than tools, it was the first proof. that intelligence could rival strength, and that thought could triumph over fear. Beyond the hunt, stone tools shaped the very rhythm of human life. Around flickering campfires, families huddled together as meat sizzled over flames, sliced with sharp flakes that had once freed marrow from bone. Children watched intently as elders struck stones, learning not just how to create tools, but how to survive. Each demonstration carried lessons of patience, skill, and caution, sharing food forged trust, binding the group into a cooperative whole. In this circle, stone tools became more than instruments. They were symbols of identity, of belonging. Every chipped edge told a story of hunts survived, nights endured, and hunger momentarily vanquished. Here, at the heart of the fire, the first sparks of culture and technology ignited, forever entwining human ingenuity with community. The first stone tools were more than clever survival tricks. They were the seeds of progress. With each flake and chopper, early humans accessed richer foods, nourished larger brains, and began communicating and cooperating in new ways. From these simple beginnings, a pattern unfolded. Invention drove adaptation. Adaptation ensured survival. The Old Darwin Toolkit became humanity's first bold statement that thought, creativity, and effort could shape destiny. This was the dawn of technology, the opening chapter of civilization itself, written not in ink or parchment, but in chipped stones. These tools mark the moment humans first began to change the world, rather than merely endure it. The story of human ingenuity begins with the Old Darwin Toolkit. Simple, jagged flakes struck from river stones, crude choppers shaped by repeated blows, primitive to modern eyes, yet revolutionary for those first hands. For the first time, humans could reach beyond their natural bodies, crafting objects that extended strength and skill. Each chip and fracture held purpose, turning raw rock into instruments of survival. With these tools, early humans could strip meat, break bones, and shape hides, changing the odds of life on the open savanna. This was more than survival. It was the first conscious step away from nature's dictates, the dawn of technology, and a glimpse of the human mind shaping the world instead of being shaped by it. In the tall grasses of the savanna, an early human kneels over a carcass left behind by predators. Others linger nearby, muscles tense, eyes scanning for danger as scavengers circle at a distance. With a firm grip, the scavenger raises a heavy stone and strikes the bone again and again, until it finally cracks. Sharp flakes scatter, slicing through hide and flesh, revealing the rich, fatty marrow inside, an energy-dense treasure that could sustain the tribe for days. Children inch closer, captivated, as the adults share the bounty. In that moment, a simple stone becomes more than a tool. It is a lifeline. Each swing, each cut, turns uncertainty into survival. Marrow fuels not only bodies, but the growth of sharper minds and stronger communities. Stone tools became humanity's first real advantage, leveling a world ruled by strength and teeth. No longer were early humans helpless scavengers, waiting for predators to finish. With sharpened flakes, they could strip meat swiftly, leaving nothing for vultures or hyenas. Hides were carved into protective coverings, roots dug from the earth, and every action turned frailty into strategy. Claws and fangs might be absent, but intelligence now wielded power. Each stone cut built confidence and courage, granting precious time for planning and cooperation. In these simple tools lay the promise of mastery over nature. The old Dowan toolkit was more than survival, it was the moment humanity discovered that thought could outweigh raw strength. Beyond the hunt, stone tools shaped the very soul of early human life. Around flickering campfires, families huddled, meat sizzling over flames as sharp flakes cut through tough hides. Children watched intently, absorbing every motion as elders struck stones, teaching the delicate art of crafting tools. Each lesson was more than technique, it was survival passed from one generation to the next. Sharing food became a ritual of trust, binding the tribe together in a fragile world. Every chipped edge carried memory of hunts endured, dangers narrowly escaped, and nights when hunger gave way to warmth and sustenance. In this delicate interplay of fire, stone, and community, the first sparks of culture ignited, proving that technology and human connection would always grow hand in hand. The first stone tools were far more than clever survival tricks. They were the first steps toward progress. With these flakes and choppers, early humans accessed richer diets, nourishing larger brains and sharper minds. They learned to work together, to share knowledge, and to shape their world with intention. From these humble acts, a pattern emerged. Inventions sparked adaptation. Adaptation ensured survival. The old Dowan tools were humanity's first declaration that thought and creativity could bend fate. This was the dawn of technology, the opening chapter of our story etched not in ink, but in the sharp edges of stones scattered across the ancient earth. The hunt unfolds with tense precision. Hunters crouch low, spears tipped with sharp stone points glinting in the sun. Every movement is measured, rehearsed through instinct, and repeated practice. Ahead, the prey grazes, unaware of the danger, larger and swifter than any individual human could overcome. But together, the tribe moves as one, each step coordinated, each signal understood. The chase is a dangerous dance of timing, patience, and strategy. Success is not strength alone, it is communication, unity, and trust. In this pursuit, hunting becomes more than survival. It becomes the first lesson in human cooperation and shared purpose. Survival is never the work of one. While hunters prepare for dangerous pursuits, women and children move through the landscape, gathering roots, berries, and nuts to sustain the tribe. Others shape stone points, weave fibers, and tend fires that warm and protect the camp. Every role carries weight. The absence of one could mean hunger or death. Together, these efforts form a fragile yet resilient network, the earliest blueprint of organized society. In the old Stone Age, each hand mattered. Every contribution strengthened the group, forging bonds of trust and dependence that would become the foundation of human cooperation. And community dot at the heart of survival lies the careful passing of knowledge. Around the fire, elders shape stone tools, tend flames, and gather food. Each motion deliberate and instructive. Children watch intently, copying gestures, absorbing lessons that mean the difference between life and death. Unlike instinct-driven animals, humans depend on memory, observation, and shared wisdom. Teaching becomes more than survival. It is the seed of culture. Stories, techniques, and cautionary lessons embed the tribe's identity, binding generations together. In these moments, humanity reaches beyond the immediate struggle, planting the foundations for futures that no single life could endure alone. After the hunt, the prey is carried back to the heart of the camp. Flames flicker as hands carefully divide meat among the tribe, each portion a promise of survival. Laughter and murmurs mingle with the crackle of fire, transforming the meal into a ritual of trust. Sharing is not just sustenance, it is the glue that binds the group. Through these acts, humans learn loyalty, empathy, and the power of collective effort. Strength emerges from unity, not solitude. In the glow of the fire, survival becomes a shared story, and every feast deepens. The invisible threads holding the tribe together. Hunting and gathering shaped more than survival. They wove humans into cohesive communities. Families grew into tribes, and daily struggles became shared purpose. Cooperation revealed a resilience no predator could break, and trust became a currency as vital as food. These early networks of duty and loyalty laid the groundwork for generations to come. From stone-tipped spears and foraged plants rose the first instinct for society, for tradition, for belonging. The old Stone Age teaches that humanity's greatest creation was not merely tools, but the social bonds that transformed isolated survival into a shared journey toward collective destiny. The jagged flakes of the old Darwin era had sustained early humans, but a new chapter emerged with the Acheulean hand axe, carefully shaped on both sides. Its edges sharp and form symmetrical. It spoke of planning and foresight. Crafting one required more than chance. It demanded patience, skill, and vision. Each hand axe was a tool, yes, but also a symbol of deliberate creation. A declaration that humans could shape their world. From raw improvisation to intentional design, survival transformed into artistry. This leap from rough fragments to refined forms marked the birth of innovation, a moment when thought and skill converged, and early humans began to sculpt matter. With purpose, with the Acheulean hand axe in hand, humans discovered new possibilities. Meat could be carved more efficiently, but survival no longer stopped there. Wood was shaped into crude shelters, the earth dug for hidden tubers, and animal hides transformed into protective clothing. These tools extended the limits of what humans could endure, opening doors to climates and landscapes once hostile. A lone hunter could process an entire carcass, while gatherers unearthed roots previously unreachable. Every task grew faster, cleaner, and more precise. The Acheulean toolkit didn't merely aid survival, it created opportunity. Humans evolved from reactive scavengers into strategic problem solvers, planning, preparing, and asserting control over the world around them. Yet the promise of innovation was not universal. Not every group embraced the hand axe, some clinging to jagged flakes out of habit, fear, or lack of skill. For them, survival remained precarious, each day a gamble. With hunger and predators, crafting a hand axe demanded patience, precision, and knowledge passed from elder to apprentice. A poorly struck stone could splinter uselessly, wasting both effort and vital resources. This uneven adoption created a stark divide. Those who mastered the new tools gained strength, flexibility, and longevity, while others faded into obscurity. The hand axe was more than a tool, it was a measure of adaptability, and in its spread. Evolution itself left its mark dot in the flickering light of a fire. An elder shapes a hand axe, each strike deliberate, each edge purposeful. Then, with care, the finished tool is placed into the hands of a child. Small fingers wrapping around stone that carries both promise and responsibility. This act is more than giving an implement, it is the passing of knowledge. The first human lesson in foresight, skill, and survival. The child watches intently, mimicking every motion, storing wisdom that will one day guide their own offspring. Each hand axe becomes a vessel of memory, recalling who taught, who endured, who led the tried through hardship. Through these tools, generations are linked, and the Acheulean hand axe emerges as humanity's first textbook, a bridge between past, present, and future for hundreds of thousands of years. Africa was home the cradle of humanity, yet eventually, small groups began venturing beyond its familiar savannas, drawn by hunger, curiosity, or the pressing hand of necessity. They carried little more than stone tools, fire, and the wisdom of their ancestors. Each step into the unknown was a gamble. Behind them lay the landscapes they knew. Ahead stretched unfamiliar terrains, teeming with new dangers and opportunities. This journey marked the first great migration in human history, a leap of faith that would weave continents together and lay the foundation for the destiny of every civilization yet to come. As early migrants crossed into Asia and Europe, they encountered trials unknown in Africa. The cold bit at their skin, and shadows concealed predators, cave lions, saber-toothed cats, and wolves that prowled without mercy. Winter brought darkness, hunger, and the constant threat of exposure. Rivers swelled into impassable barriers. Forests teemed with both food and peril, and mountains loomed like walls of stone. Picture a small family huddled beneath firs, eyes wide, hearts pounding, listening to distant howls. These journeys were not heroic marches, they were daily battles. For breath, for warmth, for survival, and for the fragile flicker of life to continue in an unforgiving world. The Ice Age tested humanity like never before. Freezing winds tore through flesh, and snow buried food beneath a relentless white. Hunger shadowed every step, and death waited in every storm. Some groups vanished, swallowed by the cold. Others adapted, hunting in coordinated bands, sharing scarce food, and reading the skies for hints of approaching storms. A broken spear, a failed hunt, a single misstep could mean the end. Life here teetered on the brink, and only the clever, the resourceful, and the united endured, proving that survival demanded more than strength, it demanded foresight and cooperation. Breakthroughs emerged that would reshape survival itself. Stone-tipped spears extended the hunter's reach, striking mammoths and bison while keeping danger at a distance. Animal hides, stitched with delicate bone needles, became garments against bone-chilling winds. Fire, fiercely guarded, transformed caves into sanctuaries, and turned raw meat into energy-rich meals. Each innovation was a lifeline, expanding what humans could endure. Mountains once impassable, forests once forbidding, plains once perilous all became reachable. Tools were no longer mere objects, they were keys, unlocking lands and climates previously unimaginable. Step by step, humans were rewriting the limits of existence, proving that ingenuity could conquer even the harshest wilderness. Humanity's greatest victory lay not in muscle or claw, but in the mind's ability to adapt across deserts, mountains, and icy plains. Stone tools and fire became emblems of resilience. Every step into the unknown taught lessons. Every hardship passed on as wisdom to the next generation. Small migrations grew into waves spanning continents, reshaping the earth itself. Survival had become triumph. Each chipped stone and flickering flame told the same story. Humans could meet any challenge, endure any landscape, and turn even the harshest wilderness into a home. Adaptability was their weapon, and through it, the world became theirs.